Hi, so this one is a must-watch video for all the US CMA candidates, and not just candidates. Lately, I got to know that some of the teachers or even peer institutes who are teaching US CMA don't know about this. So this is more like an awareness video where I just want to showcase something that you can pass on to your students. And if you're someone who's pursuing US CMA, please make a note of it. So one unique thing about US CMA exam is you get a whole window which means, let's say Jan Feb window, May June window, September October window. Whenever you are ready, you can go and appear for the exam. But can we understand that when exactly do we have to sit for the exam? Well, that can be understood, and there is also a recommended timeline that I would like to share with you, but that we can discuss at the end. Timing, let's start with understanding how we can check availability of an exam slot before completing your exam fee payment and booking the actual slot. There's a Prometric center that conducts international exams. US CMA is also conducted by this exam center only. There's a link shared in the description which you can refer, and rest of the tutorial you can see on my screen. So this is the official website of Prometric Center. You can see multiple options over here. See, when you have decided that you want to go for the exam and book a slot, you can click on schedule over here. But timing, we just want to understand which slots are available. So timing, I'm going to click on search availability. Then we have to select a test sponsor. For us, it is ICMA. So it is Institute of Certified Management Accountants. While selecting a program, we have to again select the institute that conducts the exam. Those who don't know, IMA and ICMA are pretty much synonymous, but there is a small difference. IMA is the, I would say, membership management and rest of the operations body, but ICMA is the one who kind of creates your question papers, exam correction and everything, your results, everything is taken care by ICMA. IMA on the membership end, operations end, benefits end, ICMA on the testing, exam correction, everything end. After this, we can select our test. So please be careful over here. One interesting thing about this exam as well, see, if you go in China and sit for this exam, it is available in Chinese. Even in Middle East, you can see an Arabic option for few of the tests. Timing, we are just interested in CMA part 1 or part 2. Timing, I'm gonna, let's say, select CMA part 2 exam. Plain, just simple part 2 CMA exam. I'm gonna click on it and I'm gonna press next. After this, it will ask me my address. Now you don't have to give any specific address, just put in the pin code where you stay, or the place, or even city's name is fine where you stay. So time being, the city where I stay is Pune. I'm going to put in Pune. There's a drop down I'm expecting, but it isn't showing up. So time being, I'm going to press enter. Yeah, I think it has captured an option from the drop down. So you can see Pune, comma, India being written over here. One important thing to note over here, see, while checking your availability in a window, you can only select a window for up to 15 days. So if I'm putting in 1st Jan as my start date, the last date I can put in is 15th or 16th Jan maximum. If you want to sit for, let's say, for your exam anywhere between 15th Jan and 31st Jan, then select 15th Jan as your starting date. Rest 2 weeks would be available for you to select. So timing, some of my students are going for an exam in last 2 weeks of February. So timing, I'm going to go on February. I'm going to select 14th Feb as my start date, and you can see timeline shown over here is still 20th February. I'll enter CAPTCHA. I'm going to press on next. So you will see that there are 2 addresses showcased over here. I consider them as, I think, one and the same. They are highlighted in the same location. And why it has shown Mumbai? Well, after putting in Pune, it has scanned for the nearest test center, which was Mumbai, and it has showcased it to me. Now in Mumbai, you can see 24th Feb, and then another timeline from 17th to 26th, which means these are the slots available at these centers. Now, if I'm not wrong, these are one and the same centers just next to each other, 8921 and 8922. I usually ask students to take the last date possible. I'll come to that, why I use that logic. But let's say if we click on 26th, you can see 2 dates over here. One is 8:30, this means AM, and then we have 1300 hours, which is 1 PM. So you have 2 slots available, and here's how you can get an estimate of which exam slots are available. Now, depending on the time that you're checking, sometimes there are a lot of slots available, there are very few slots available. Please note, Prometric Center hosts exams for a lot of international exams. So depending on availability and occupancy of other exams, even for our CMA exam, the number of seats available can go up or down, but there's no specific pattern to it that you have to, let's say, schedule in advance to get a preferred date. Sometimes in advance, a preferred date won't be available, and sometime later it might show up. So frankly speaking, there is no specific timeline. But to be on a safer side, if your preferred date is available already, and if you are good with your preparation, I would say go ahead and book it. When it comes to booking, see, once you pay your exam fee, you get a code. Using that code, you can just click on schedule and follow the same process and go beyond this step. There will be an option to book a slot. Click on it and book it. That's as simple as that. Now coming to why I usually recommend my students to take up last week in your exam month. See, the way IMA kind of releases their result is from the last day of your exam month. 42 days after that, your result is declared. So anytime, like even if you appear your exam on 1st Jan or 31st Jan, it will count 42 to 45 days from 31st Jan only. So if you're someone who's appearing for exam on 1st Jan, you have to wait till approximately 12th March or even 15th March. If you're someone who's appearing on 31st Jan, again you'll get your result on 12th March or 15th March. So what's the use of appearing in advance? That's my first question. Now, if you're someone who wants to wrap up your exam and move on to next part, study something else, do something like travel somewhere, have some plans, then in that case, if your study is done, if you have good accuracy, go ahead and appear in first week, second week, third week, whichever week you want. But if you're someone like me who wants to optimize more on time, that I'll take more time to prepare, I'll go and sit in the last week of the exam month, and then preferably I'll wait for 45 days where I preferably take break. I travel, I go around, and I enjoy my time, because you do need a break after a lot of effort like this. This is a sprint that you have to do in last month of your exam, solving mocks and everything. So that would be my recommendation. If you're someone who doesn't want to wait a long time for your exam result to show up, you can take up exam in the last week of your exam month. With that, I'll wrap up this video. And if you're someone at FinStreet watching this, I usually conduct personally a data check. I cross-check your government IDs with your confirmation letters that you get from Prometric or IMA, and I make sure that everything is correct. So if you're someone who has access to a mentor or has access to a class, go ask them to check, get it confirmed. It shouldn't be a case that you show up to an exam center and they ask you to leave because there is some discrepancy in the government ID and your name. I have seen instances where government ID has just your first name and the confirmation letter has a first name plus last name. Under those circumstances, I've seen Prometric centers asking students to leave the center without the exam. So yeah, don't fall for such things. Get your documentation in place. There's a dedicated video that tells you everything about what you need to do one day before your exam. If you haven't watched that, please do check it out. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. This is Aditya Shelar, your lead faculty for CMA at FinStreet Education. I'll take your leave. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.